In all her years as reigning princess of Equestria, Princess Celestia had never attended an event that was this sad. The residents of Ponyville had disregarded the beautiful summer day heat, donning robes and other articles of clothing that were pure black. Black tapestries had been affixed to all the buildings, including the library where the funeral was being held. As Princess Celestia had expected, Twilight's 5 friends took it the hardest. The space directly in front had been reserved for the 5 mares. Rainbow Dash's eyes were red and swollen, her face tear-streaked and her mouth set in a grim line. Applejack just stared at the ground, and the quiet plip of her tears falling on the ground were the only thing breaking the silence. Fluttershy had buried her face in her hoofs and was weeping quietly, with Angel Bunny at her side. For once, the rabbit's arrogant and angry expression was missing, replaced instead by one of infinite sadness. Rarity was just shaking her head, muttering to herself, "It couldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened." Pinkie Pie just seemed deflated. A single black balloon was tied to her tail, and it floated casually in the wind. But Pink Pony wasn't crying or muttering to herself. She just stared straight ahead as the procession began. 6 stallions, garbed in black and eyes downcast, bore a dark wooden casket upon their backs. The corners of the casket were stapled with a purple 6-pointed star. Spike himself was leading the procession, his head held high, his tears flowing freely. Seeing Princess Celestia, he detached himself from procession and stood next to her side. Gazing back ahead, Princess Celestia watched as the 6 stallions carefully lowered the casket to the ground. One of the 6 stepped forward, scratching at the ground nervously. Twilight Sparkle was a role model to ponies everywhere, he stuttered. Rainbow Dash instantly cut him off. "Go before I break your legs in 5 different places," she growled, pointing a hoof in the distance. The 6 stallions galloped off, fleeing as fast as their hoofs could carry them. The Rainbow Pegasus cursed under her breath, turning to face the gathered crowd. "To say that we're the only ones that lost a friend," she began, gesturing to the 4 grieving mares in the front, "would be selfish. Yesterday, all of Ponyville, no, all of Equestria, lost one of the best friends a pony could ask for, in a storm that somehow wormed out of Cloudsdale's control." Rainbow sniffed. Twilight was intelligent beyond belief, always pursuing some scientific thing with her free time. I used to tease her constantly about being an egghead. She paused, choking back a sob. But she was always looking to help some pony, always willing to lend any pony that asked a hoof. Applejack gathered her hat from the ground and plopped up to stand next to Rainbow Dash. As she set her hat upon the casket, she said quietly, "Twilight's the only one that could have given me a run for my money in honesty. She may not have been the strongest pony around, but she'd all be straight with ya." Fluttershy joined the two, turning to address the crowd. "When Twilight first came to Ponyville, she scared me beyond belief." Her voice squeaked as she had to take several breaths to steady herself. "But we quickly became friends, and I've never met a kinder pony in my life. Everything she did, she worked on for the benefit of others. She would always make sure that everyone was enjoying themselves, and if they weren't, she wouldn't hesitate to help them in any way she could." Rarity joined her friends. "She would always listen to you, no matter how trivial or meaningless that you were saying seemed. Her ear was always a patient one, and she would always offer advice on how to help. She was the sweetest creature I had ever met." Pinkie Pie just slowly walked toward the casket. In silence, she walked past the audience, walked past her friends, and just stood at the side of the casket. "Twilight, come back," she wailed, throwing her front hoofs over the casket. "Oh dear," Rarity murmured, drawing the pink pony into a hug. Pinkie Pie cried into the unicorn's shoulder. Why did she have to go? She bawled, Rarity patting her friend on the back, but stayed silent. Princess Celestia separated herself from the crowd, slowly making her way toward the front. Spike was on her back, his face buried in her mane. Slowly she eyed the 5 crying ponies in the casket, and then turned to face the audience. No matter what your personal opinions of Twilight was, she addressed the crowd slowly. Remember that this unicorn was an honest, loyal, kind, generous, and happy pony. She was a studious mentor, a faithful student, and a true friend. She rested a white hoof on the casket before wrapping it in her magic, slowly flowing it down into a 6-foot hole. Rest in peace, my faithful student. Sister, you can't keep grieving like this. Luna prodded the large white alicorn. Why not? Celestia demanded furiously, a picture of Twilight as a filly clutched in her hoofs. Why am I not entitled to grieve for my best student? You have a kingdom to run, Tia, Luna said quietly. I can't do it by myself. I did it by myself for 1,000 years. Celestia snapped back. Luna winced, but her tone was still soft. I know, but I'm out of practice. I need your help. The dark alicorn settled next to her sister. I miss her too, you know. You don't act like it. You haven't been paying attention then, Luna muttered softly. Celestia opened her mouth to tell her sister off, but was interrupted. A whisk of black fire materialized in the air for a brief moment, and a scroll dropped in front of the 2 sisters. Celestia was too stunned to move. No one knows how to send me letters like that. No one except her. Luna quickly snatched up the scroll with her magic, removing the seal and unfurling it. The parchment was stained with red spots and looked unclean, as if it had been rubbed in dirt. Luna's eyes flicked over the first few lines and blanched. What is it? Celestia asked. You don't want to know. Read it. No. Luna, do it now. Flinching, Luna brought the parchment up to her eyes and cleared her throat. Dear Princess Celestia, in all my years under your tutelage, we never touched on the subject of death, or life after death. Why is that? Were you intentionally keeping me in the dark, or was there no credible research on the topic? It's a strange place, death. It's very dark, and it's very cold, but I found that if you merely think things, they will pop into existence. It's amazing, really. It's like magic permeates the air around me. I really feel stronger than I ever have before. Still, it's kind of lonely. I seem to be the only pony here, though. I can occasionally hear whispers. Every time I try and turn around, though, I never see anything. But I thought this led into existence. Oh my, I'm probably just rambling now. I miss you, Princess. I miss my friends back in Ponyville. And I miss Spike most of all. Give them my regards, will you? I'll keep studying the magic of death. Maybe I'll find a way to come back. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Luna finished reading and let the scroll drop to the floor. Celestia looked ashen, her eyes dilated and bloodshot. There's no way, Celestia muttered. What do we do? Luna asked. Send a detachment of guards to Ponyville, Celestia instructed, and lead them yourself. See if you can find any pony forging letters. The words seemed dull and lifeless as they left the white alicorn's mouth. And how do we find them? Celestia merely shrugged. The next tuft of black fire came later that day, dropping a scroll at Celestia's hoofs. She immediately dismissed the couple she'd been giving an audience to. They were going through a rough divorce and had gotten into a fight over who got to keep their foal, and unfurled the scroll quickly. Dear Princess Celestia, I found the most amazing thing today. Light! It feels like I've been here forever now, so I kind of lost track of the days. I hope these letters are reaching you with some sense of expectancy, because I hate to be tardy. I think we both remember what happened last time. However, upon my most recent discovery, I found that if I focus intently on one spot, I can bring just a smidgen of light to it. In my discovery, it seems that death is just a very large, drab world. I still feel myself growing stronger, though, and I'm enjoying the sensation. It's like I'm expanding to cover everything at once. As I write this, yes, I'm actually writing just to stay in habit, my light continues to grow and grow, getting brighter and brighter. It's much easier to lift heavy things, and with a piano as a point of reference, I can teleport myself many miles away. Oh, but I hate to start rambling again. I can only imagine that this is how you feel all the time. You're the most powerful you're the most powerful spell pony in existence, right? Feels like I'm the princess of this new world. Faithfully forever, Twilight Sparkle. Celestia refused all other audiences for the rest of the day, and had trouble falling asleep that night. Dear Princess Celestia, I'm fairly sure now I'm the strongest I've ever been, even in life. Hard tasks seem so trivial now, and they're barely worth my time to do them at all. I still hear whispers, but now they're whispers of encouragement. They're nice, you know. Always promise me something, or always push me further and harder. They remind me a little bit of you. Anyway, I visited Rainbow Dash last night. She was asleep. As far as I could tell, we had a nice conversation until she started crying. I hardly understood the need for crying anymore. Sure, I'm dead, but ponies always die eventually, right? She said that she wished she could really see me again, so I'm dedicating my efforts to find a way. It's getting colder, too. I can't feel my hoofs anymore, but I'll keep riding anyway. It doesn't bother me much, except that my hoofs tingle when I stand. I wish I wasn't alone. Your faithful friend, Twilight Sparkle. Celestia gulped. The 3 scrolls had appeared next to her bed while she had been asleep, and she was now attempting to fly through them. Letting the first one fall, she unwrapped the second and began reading. Dear Princess Celestia, I think I've done it. I found a way to not be alone anymore. My hypothesis is that if I can manage to catch some pony at their death and lead them here, maybe we can be together forever. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I visited Rainbow Dash again. She sure is a mess, if her dream appearance is anything to base off of. She let her mane become unkempt, and she's always crying. Always. Anyway, she doesn't say much anymore. She just kind of holds on to me, crying and begging me not to leave. I'm struggling to understand exactly how this whole grief thing works. I've told her over and over that death is truly a better place, but that just makes her cry harder. Finally, I managed to teleport 15 miles. It's a real benchmark for me. I don't even think you can do that. I think I'll go visit Rainbow Dash again. I might have found some pony to bring with me. Eternally yours, Twilight Sparkle. Celestia's eyes widened as she hastily discarded the second scroll and picked up the third. Dear Princess Celestia, Rainbow Dash says she's ready to join me. I knew she would be loyal to me. I knew it. I am the spark that brought the 6 of us together after all. Oh my, I guess that sounds a bit conceited, but that's all right. There's no one here to apprehend me after all. If all goes well, Princess, Rainbow Dash will be joining me in death very shortly. I'll keep this letter brief, as I have much planning to do, but I'll contact you again as soon as I find out if it works. Your eager student, Twilight Sparkle. Celestia stared at the scroll long after she had finished reading, numb with shock. Celestia! Luna came galloping into Celestia's room. Tia, we found something. A forger? Celestia asked quickly, hope clear in her voice. No. It's Rainbow Dash. She's dead. Dead? Celestia shrieked. How did she die? We're not sure, Luna replied, her eyes downcast. The only clue was written on the walls. It was odd, though. Odd? Odd how? Rainbow Dash wrote it herself, Luna replied. With a bloody hoof. What did it say? She's with me now. Dear Princess Celestia, it worked! Thank the stars it worked! Rainbow Dash is here with me, and she's already brightening this place up. Now there's color instead of just black and white. Maybe soon we'll have grass and some trees. Rainbow herself is having a blast. She can fly so fast here, she's loving it. We caught up on a lot of things and have actually had some stimulating conversation. We're already agreed that we should get the others in here somehow. It's fascinating, really. The only thing I can really feel anymore is this yearning emptiness. I want more of everything. I already have all this power, and I have a friend. But is one friend good enough? You're a lonely student. Twilight Sparkle. Tia? What if these letters are really coming from Twilight? Luna asked tentatively. If that's true, we're about to lose 4 more ponies, Celestia whispered in response. But it can't be possible. I've known many powerful spell ponies. None of them have ever broken Death's veil. It's not possible. Yeah, but were any of them the element of magic? Luna replied as another puff of black fire ignited between them. Dear Princess Celestia, Rainbow Dash and I have decided that Pinkie Pie would be a great addition to Death. She really livens up everything and she comes in contact with, so it is only a logical decision to bring her next. Laughter is kind of in short supply here in Death, oddly enough. On a side note, I realized that I murdered Rainbow Dash. Well, some part of me realized that. Want to know something funny? I don't care. I don't care that I took a pony's life. In fact, it felt good. It felt like I was in control of both worlds. And I don't think there's anything you can do to stop me. Your omnipotent student, Twilight Sparkle. Go, Celestia said. Luna vanished, desperately trying to make it to Sugar Corner in time. Oh, Twilight. Celestia buried her face in her hoofs. What are you? Dear Princess Celestia, I saw Princess Luna at Sugar Corner. Did you send her to see Pinkie Pie off? It was a nice gesture. Luna was positively screaming with excitement as Pinkie's bodies collapsed in a heap. Things are already brighter now. Despite the fact she can't actually use magic, Pinkie Pie has managed to procure balloons, streamers, confetti, and other party accoutrements. I firmly believe I should have studied her in life a little more. Now, I don't give a damn about studying. I need more friends. More friends. Maybe I should get Fluttershy in here. I don't know what season it is, so Applejack might be busy, and Rarity will need a little bit more time to arrange some care for her sister. Your apathetic student, Twilight Sparkle. I failed, Luna said miserably as she walked in the door. I know, Celestia said sadly. I don't think there's anything we can do now. Another scroll popped into existence. Dear Princess Celestia, Pinkie and Rainbow both love the idea of Fluttershy entering Death with us. I visited her earlier today and nearly scared the poor thing to death. Calmly I explained what our plan was to her. She fainted, unfortunately, but I think she heard me. Do you know how the old saying goes? If two's company, three's a crowd? It is certainly more lively than it used to be, but still, there's an aching need for more. Rainbow Dash has it too. Eternally yours, Twilight Sparkle. Her letters are getting shorter and shorter, Luna observed. The days passed with no further letters from Twilight. Celestia conducted her business normally, albeit with a somewhat strenuous attitude. The guards were calling her apprehensive and were on alert almost all the time for any potential threats against their beloved princess. It was evening when the next letter arrived. Celestia was gazing out of a window when the scroll landed on her tail. Dear Princess Celestia, Fluttershy's with us now. She's kind of in shock, but she'll get over it. Pinkie and Rainbow are both doing their best to comfort her, as it seems my appearance has frightened her a little. I really don't see how. I mean, even though my eyes are pitch black now, I can still see. That's what matters, right? I visited Rarity. The poor thing has gone insane, shutting herself in her boutique. I firmly believe it'll be a mercy to take her out of this world. Shirley is looking to adopt anyway. I think Sweetie Belle would be an amazing adoption candidate, don't you? She'll be joining us soon. There was no end salutation or signature. Tia? Luna muttered, looking at her older sister's room. Let me guess. The white alicorn wondered darkly. Fluttershy's dead too. Mm-hmm. Luna nodded sadly. We're losing the elements one by one. It's really her then. Dear Princess Celestia, we're almost a complete set again. All we need is Applejack. Is there blood on my hooves? It feels like there should be. I've killed 4 of my closest friends now. But it was for a good cause, right? Some part of me is screaming, insisting I shouldn't feel empty, but that I should stop now. I visited Applejack. I told her that we're all here in death, and that we wish she was here. She looks like she was a wreck, losing all of us in a short time. At this point, it would be a mercy to take her with us, wouldn't it? Our world has grown ferociously. There are trees and grass and even a slight breeze. But there's no sun, though we can still see just fine. I hope Applejack will love it as much as the rest of us. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Dear Princess Celestia, we are all here now. It's amazing. The girls all say hi. It's a nice feeling to have all my friends here. And now we can never die. We've decided we need more ponies, though. Congratulations, Princess. You're first on the list.